So I finally played Dark Souls. Now, it's a game I had been kind of wanting to play for a long time. For a bit of history, first game I played in the Souls series was Dark Souls 2. So, yes, Dark Souls 2 was the first game that I played. Yeah, wasn't really my cup of tea, I thought at the time. I think I probably played it for about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And I just remember I didn't get it. I didn't know what to do. I was dying a lot. And all I remember thinking, especially when I first played it, was there's no way they're making the game harder by punishing you for dying. Yeah, that pretty much did seem like what was happening. It was what was happening, I guess. And I just didn't really get on with it. So I thought I was one of those people who was like, yeah, it's not really for me. I don't know, by the way, why I started with Dark Souls 2. I've got no idea. I remember at the time going, oh, what should I start with? Which game? And I don't think anyone really said start with Dark Souls 2. That's a good place to start. This was before Dark Souls 3, just to clarify. So I think, it must have been. It must have been, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, no. It was, because I got Dark Souls 3 when it came out. I don't know if that was a great idea! It wasn't a great idea! So anyway, the point being, I just felt like it wasn't my kind of thing. That all changed when I remember seeing Bloodborne for the first time. I remember thinking, oh, everyone's saying how amazing it is, and I'll talk about that, I'm sure, probably another time. But it kind of changed then, and definitely changed with Sekiro. It was Sekiro where I finally seemed to get it, as it were. Just to clarify, Sekiro was the first Souls game that I actually, well, it's not really a Souls game, but it's the first one I actually completed. So yeah, that's when things really kind of started to click for me in terms of the games. And I think what made it happen was the fact that I just had to do it by myself. I had to get good, as people say. So anyway, can't use words as per usual. By the way, do you like my Souls top? Look, it says you died on it. I quite like it anyway, so I thought it was fitting for this video. Thought, yeah, makes sense, why not? Wear it, looks all right. Anyway, it is a bit weird if you're walking around in public though with "you died," but anyway, doesn't matter, it's not the point. The point being, last year is when I actually first bought Dark Souls. I've never owned it until last year. And I remember I played like Resident Evil 4, the remake. I enjoyed that generally. I played something else and I can't remember what it was. But I know I played that. Oh, Dead Space, I think, the remake. I played that as well. So lots of remakes last year. And I just remember getting the urge to play, something with real gravitas. So I remember I went back to play Sekiro and I completed that again. And I really enjoyed it, And I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if I could play the original Dark Souls. I remember thinking, maybe I am good enough to play that game. I mean, Elden Ring blew me away when that came out. Obviously, the whole DLC's just been announced recently, and I'm sure I'll talk about that plenty. But Elden Ring I completed 6 times. 6 times. And I could have probably completed it more. But I remember, I know I had to just stop playing that game for a bit. Elden Ring ruined things for me, ruined video games for me, and I'll talk about that, like I said, probably another time. But anyway, so last year, I thought I really, really maybe could give Dark Souls a go, and I remember I was scared. I'm not embarrassed to admit that maybe I was a bit scared, but I bought it anyway, and here it is. Here's my copy of Dark Souls. Of course you know where it is. But yeah, this is mine. I've still got the receipt in there as well. I bought it from CEX. Let's not get into. Does it have it? Is this the booklet? That's not a booklet, is it? What is that? That's just. Oh, it's just an advertisement for their stuffs, their store. You get some coins. Oh, awesome! Praise the Sun coins. Nice. Anyway, I honestly thought I was going to really struggle. I thought I was going to really, really struggle. And one of the things that I think initially I recognised was some of the issues that I think I had early on with the Souls games was that I almost refused to look stuff up. So I didn't really understand what was going on. And one of the things I've really learned is it's okay to use Fextra Life, for example, like the wiki thing. It's okay to look stuff up, because if you don't know what it means, and you're not using it and it could be advantageous in some way, then use it, look it up, And I think that maybe if I'd have done that with Dark Souls 2, maybe I might have had a bit of a better time. But I remember I didn't really start doing that until I did it. I probably did do it in Bloodborne. I probably did, but I don't remember doing it. It's Dark Souls 3 is the first time I remember really looking stuff up, because I think that's when I remember playing co-op and stuff, and wanting to play with my friend Larry, Guru Larry, if you know Larry. Shout out to Larry. I remember I wanted to play with him, so that was a big factor in probably looking stuff up and trying to understand things a bit more. But anyway, with Dark Souls, one of the first things that I noticed about the game was that it's a lot slower than the other games, and I used my shield a lot more than I'd been using for a long time. I can't remember. Obviously, you don't use one in Bloodborne really, unless it's a joke weapon, isn't it, or joke item in the game. Elden Ring, I probably did use shields a bit. Obviously, there isn't anything like that in Sekiro because it's very different in terms of the combat style. But I remember I used it a lot in Dark Souls, and I quite liked the slower pace of the game. If I'm honest, I actually quite enjoyed it, and I find that one of the things that I love about the Souls games, and what I really loved about Dark Souls, well, all of them really, but is the I mean the combat is wonderful, but in Dark Souls it just really felt like almost like a game of chess, or maybe chess is a bit too complex, but rock paper scissors kind of thing almost a bit. It's like it's about timing, it's about reaction, but it's almost kind of about not outthinking your opponent, because obviously I don't know if any of this actually even makes any sense, and it probably doesn't, but it does to me in my head. That the combat, it's not like you just run in just going woohoo, swingy swing, swingy swing, and think like, yeah, you'll get away with it, because you won't get away with it. I mean, unless you're really lucky. But I really liked the combat. I really liked that I gave myself time with Dark Souls as well. That's one of the things that I remember about playing this late last year. I should have probably made this video sooner, but I've only just decided to do this, so I should have probably played it before. But one of the things I really, really enjoyed about it is the interconnectedness. Is that the word? Interconnectedness of the world, how it all interconnects, and it all, you go there and you're like, wow, I'm back here. Wow, I've just done this cool loop, and all that goes there and that goes around there, and it's one spaghetti awesome map. It's awesome. It's very different, say, to Elden Ring, but that's not a bad thing about Elden Ring. It's just a great thing about Dark Souls, and I really enjoyed that. But one of the things I think I enjoyed the most is that I've done this. I did it by myself. Like, often I will summon people in, but there wasn't. I mean, I did actually try once. I'll be honest. I think one of the bosses, I thought, oh, let me see if I can get someone in, and there was no one around. I never got anyone in. I did a couple. I used the AI people a couple of times, so I did do that. But aside from that, generally, I did it all by myself. No, not generally. Generally, I did it all by myself. One of the things that I love about the Souls games, and Elden Ring, and Bloodborne is how the leveling works. So I love the fact that the early enemies pose a threat when you're starting out, and they are vicious, and if you're not careful, they can damage you more than you'd expect. And if you don't time things carefully, or if you get a bit kind of arrogant, and you think, well, I can take these on, they'll just mess you up. But as the game progresses and you level up, you can go back to those areas and you could literally almost kill them by looking at them. That's obviously an over exaggeration, but you get what I mean. That's what it feels like. You go in and I'm the boss now, bitches, and you can just completely take people out, take the enemies out. And again, it's one of the things, like a lot of the Souls games do that, don't they? That you meet an enemy early on that just destroys you, and then you'll meet them at a later stage of the game, and you make them fear, you know. So I love that. I know some games, like everyone levels up with you. I just think I feel like nothing feels different then. It just feels like the same thing over and over again. But I love being able to go back to old areas and just destroy everything. It's such a fun thing that I enjoy about the Souls games. But I really enjoyed Dark Souls a lot. And I surprised myself because I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. And I don't want to say it was a lot easier than I expected, but I did cope better than I expected. Now, I would say is if I can complete Dark Souls, I can't talk, but if I can complete Dark Souls, so could you. If you think like, oh, I can't play the Souls games, I'm not very good. I am rubbish at games. I am really not that great. Ever playing online, I was never generally often top, very, very rarely, or it was luck. Mid to bottom is kind of where I would be, usually towards the lower end of the spectrum on a table. But anyway, so I'm not great at games, really. I die a lot. It's a big reason why I've probably given up on a lot of games that I shouldn't have over the years. So if I can do it, you can do it. And again, I did it without summoning anyone in. And I even, in the final boss, I'm going to show this, I even parried the final boss at one point. And I was just like, I did that. I was proud. I was proud of myself. And I completed the final boss first time. I think you're kind of supposed to. I actually felt sorry for the guy. I actually felt like, oh wow, like that's just. I mean, you're supposed to be the final. I mean, I feel bad for you because like, that was nothing for me. That was nothing. But the game is awesome. Dark Souls. If you haven't played it, you know, it's something to consider. Elden Ring, I think, is the easiest one to get into because of just what you can do and how you can explore the world. But maybe give this a go if you haven't ever played it. And you might be better than you think. And you might not be, because I didn't think I would be. But, well, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Check it out, all right? I'll see you in another video at some point in the near future. I'll see you at a bonfire or something. I'm not going to set a fire near your house. I'm just going to shut up now.